Oh, hi there. Welcome to my bedroom because it's stormy and windy outside, and so now we have to shoot in here. And because I was behind on all of my recaps, because I'm so lazy, I thought that I would fast forward through some of the more slower episodes and do a mini catch-up video recap. So I'll be doing from the 21st of January until the 27th of February. So let's get right on it. So first up, we've got the episodes of January 21 and 22, which revolve around Nile and Mesut's wedding. I have to say Ramona rocked these episodes with her comic skills, especially in her scenes with Mesut's mother, Sybil. The funniest moments were when Nile was trying to learn to dance halal. And then we've got Sybil telling Nile that she's going to be wearing her wedding dress instead of her own. And then she makes her put it on. And bless, she looks like a big fluffy white meringue. Oh, Nile. But the most hilarious scene out of all of it is when Jasmin walks in and Nile is standing in the middle of the room wearing the dress, and her face is genius. She just is like, kill me now. And Jasmin is trying her hardest not to piss herself laughing.
Hey, hey. Was ich dir übrigens sagen wollte. İyi ki varsın. İyi ki nereye yardım ediyorsun. Düğün öncesi senin gibi birisine ihtiyaç var biliyor musun? Birisinin adetleri bilmiyorum biliyor musun? Şimdi.
And then Nile ends up offending Sybil, and Sybil ends up leaving. But also worth mentioning in this episode is that Anni finally has her final sound engineering exam after studying for 5,000 years. And Jasmin wishing her good luck with this sweet kiss.
Und du sieh mal zu, dass du unser Sahnetörtchen hier wieder auf Normaltemperatur bekommst, ja?
Das nicht an.
Next up we have episodes of January the 23rd and 26th, which revolve around Anni getting a job offer to go on tour with Nessie. But first, she's just finished her exam, she comes home, and she pretends that she didn't pass. So that's pretty cute. But then she's like, yay, passed! And then Jasmin is super proud, and we get this cute kiss.
Sie hat ihr Zeugnis! Ich bin so stolz auf dich.
Oh.
So stolz!
Then we have Anni telling Jasmin and Nell that her future plans include sex, drugs, and rock and roll, which don't sit well with Jasmin at all. She'd be like, 9, I ain't having none of that shit. Then when they go to celebrate Anni passing the exam at the Mauer work, Anni has to fill in for a sound engineer for the Nessie gig that's on stage. And she does such a great job that they actually offer her a job to go touring with them for the next 6 months, including to Australia, which I would say, yes, you should take that right away because, you know, I'm here. Yeah. Then she pretty much does say yes right away, and I would too because it's a really good opportunity and who wouldn't want to go touring. And I love watching Anni behind the sound desk because it's super hot.
I can't take it anymore. I wanna tell you how I feel, and I fall. I can't take it anymore. I wanna tell you how I feel, and I fall.
Anni is then super nervous about telling Jasmin, but Jasmin, being the most awesomest girlfriend in the entire universe, pretty much just tells her that she's super excited, and she tells her, you should do it. Jasmin then tries to be really happy for Anni, but it becomes clear that she's extremely sad that Anni is leaving. And we get a really emotional scene in Anni's bedroom where Anni asks her if she should stay, and Jasmin is all like, oh, no, you should definitely go. She gives her a note saying that she should only open it later, and we get this amazing goodbye scene.
Komm, geh jetzt. Hm?
Annie opens the note in the car, and the note says, I want a postcard every week at least. I miss you already. Love, Jasmin. Aww. Annie then, of course, can't leave because Jasmin. And so she comes back and can't leave. Yay! Now, what I love about this scene is how Jasmin's first reaction when Annie walks through the door is like, oh, hell no, what are you doing here? No, you gotta be on tour, go! But then she gets excited and she's happy and we get this really cute reunion scene.
Das heißt, du bleibst hier?
Ja.
Ey, das kannst du nicht machen. Das ist eine Riesenchance. Bitte geh
Jetzt einfach mal einen Kuss. Bitte.
Du spinnst total.
Klappe.
Sag mal, wusstest du das, Jason?
Next up we have the episodes of January 29, 30 and February 3 and 5. They decide to all have a party at the apartment in which we see, we get the hilarious dirty dancing scene where a drunk Nile desperately tries to get Annie to reenact the dance lift scene with her, and Annie is just horrified and runs away screaming like, ah! Jasmin cracks up, it's hilarious. We then find out that Ayla might be pregnant from that one time she slept with Typhon. So the Scooby Gang all rally around and they try and get her a pregnancy test, and it turns out she is pregnant. And then there's a bunch of support scenes around Ayla in which the girls are all rallying around her to support her, and Ayla's just freaking out. And they reassure her that everything's going to be fine. They're going to raise it, and it's going to be a big air baby. It's going to be awesome. And then Pia returns! Pia returns!
Wird in Berlin nicht mal richtig gefeiert, oder was? Ist schon auch da? Ja, klar ist er da.
We missed you, Pia! And damn, girl, you good with short hair. Typhon does end up finding out that he is the father of Ayla's baby, but he is not happy, Jan. Then in the February 5th episode, we get the scene between Catherine and Jasmin, in which Jasmin tells Catherine that she does forgive her for being a bitch, but that doesn't mean she wants anything to do with her ever again. Oh, snap! Which brings us to February the 9th, which is the episode we see Annie's new haircut, and it goes by unnoticed. Some random customer sees it, and that's about it. Where are all our reactions, especially from Jasmin? And then February the 11th, there's mostly scenes revolving around Nile's wedding. They have a rehearsal dinner at the Mauerwerk, which ends in the wedding almost being called off after a fight. But we do get this cute banter between Annie and Jasmin, with Jasmin trying to feed meat to Annie, which is pretty hilarious considering Linda is a vegan.
Klasse. Probier mal. Zack gleich.
Then on February the 19th, trouble in paradise begins. With Annie being now unhappy with the relationship. Now, while I get where she's coming from, I just feel like we didn't see enough of Annie being unhappy or dissatisfied, because this whole storyline feels a bit forced. It seems like they just made Annie a little bit more bitchier than usual, just to add the drama. But it all pretty much starts with the dress fitting for Nile's wedding. Jasmin is under pressure to get the dresses ready, while Annie is panicking about this open mic night that she's running at the cafe. Annie ends up telling Jasmin that what she is doing is far more important than fiddling around with some silly dresses, and runs off. Jasmin ends up chasing her down and confronts her on the street. Annie tells her that she's already cancelled the Nessie tour for her. What more does she want? Jasmin tells her that she did not want her to do that at all. And Annie be like, yeah, sure. And Jasmin be angry, pissed, and storms off.
Denn ich habe schon die Tour mit Nessie für dich abgesagt. Was soll ich noch machen?
Darum hab ich dich nicht gebeten.
Ja, klar.
Hey, was ist los mit dir so?
Was denn?
Mesut then calls Annie out on her behaviour, calls her a bitch. The way that Annie is actually genuinely surprised to hear this from Mesut makes me think that she doesn't stop to think about how her behaviour is hurting Jasmin. She later does admit to Nile that everything has been getting on her nerves since she turned the tour down. And she also shows Nile a song that she wrote that explains all her feelings. But Nile says it's a very, very bad idea. Very bad if she was to sing that to Jasmin. Annie then tries to apologise to Jasmin, but she ain't having none of that. And so at the end of the open mic night, Annie kind of feels like she's forced to step up on stage, and she sings the song to Jasmin, going against Nile's advice. And it could have been the perfect opportunity for Annie to sing an I'm Sorry song to Jasmin, but instead she sings Is Love Enough?
Yeah. Take care of your life, and I'll be alright, and I'll be alright. Is love enough for us? If I doubt it inside, if I doubt it inside.
And in case you didn't notice, that was actually Uli Beck on stage singing with Linda, who co-wrote the song with her and is also responsible for a lot of the great music in the show. So the song itself is pretty harsh, and it's a slap in the face for Jasmin. And she storms out of there before Annie's even finished singing. She's like, out of here. Annie, of course, runs after her, and she tries to apologise to her, telling Jasmin that it's just how I feel. It's just how I'm feeling right now, and she's just unhappy right now. And I love the way in this scene when Annie runs after her, Jasmin initially, that reaction, that push, she pushes her off of her. And it's so emotional, and it's another superbly acted scene from Linda and Janina.
Kannst du mir mal bitte einfach eine Minute lang zuhören?
Du sollst mich in Ruhe lassen, Mann.
Ich wusste nicht, wie ich es dir sonst sagen soll.
Und dann singst du es einfach, ja? La, la, la. Beginnt wie ein Liebessong und dann bekomme ich eine Klatsche. Mann, du singst darüber, dass ich mit meinem Leben nicht klarkomme. Dass ich mich nicht um mich selbst kümmern kann.
Annie then tells Jasmin that she just needs more space, but Jasmin just ends up telling her that it is over, bitch. It's over. And you can actually see both of their hearts break. Back at the apartment, super pissed off Jasmin, in fact, I don't think I've ever seen her this pissed off before, starts throwing all of Annie's shit out of her room. Bam! Breaking shit, and things are flying out of the room. But after she comes down, she almost sends an I'm sorry text, but deletes it. She's reconsidering the whole breaking up thing, and then when Annie finally does come home, she does tell her that she doesn't really want to break up with her. But then Annie suggests that they actually do have a timeout to try and save the relationship. And we get more shots of Jasmin crying. Seriously, Janina, you need to win an award for best crier ever. Then in the very last episode, 27th of February, we see that things are now very awkward, super awkward in the apartment, between Annie and Jasmin, with Annie trying to avoid Jasmin and Jasmin being all in her face, confronting her about her behaviour. This then ends up taking a toll on Nile and Mesut, who are watching all of this happen, and causes fights between them, with them both taking different sides. Nile thinks that if one of them moves out, it'll be the beginning of the end of their relationship, while Mesut pushes Annie to actually consider moving out. And then, of course, Nile finds out that he did this, and they actually end up on a relationship break of their own. Bam! This recap proudly brought to you by Linda's new haircut, because gosh darn it, it deserves a little bit more attention than some random line from some random cafe lady. Enjoy.